Okay, we are back. Today we are going to discuss top uncommon cards for drafting. Remember, this is just a generic ranking and it's on a personal preference, so don't take me wrong. This is just a generic commons that may suit any deck you draft it. So let's start with blue. We have first a 1-drop, it's Miscast, and it's an instant which say counter target instant or sorcery spell unless controller base 3, which is good because there is a lot of instant and sorceries in the set. Then we have Riddle Form, which is a 2-drop, an enchantment, and say whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may have Riddle Form become a 3/3 Sphinx creature with flying in addition to its other type till the end of the turn. And it's also have a 3 mana ability which says Cry 1, which is good in drafting, though I think 3 mana for just scrying would be just used in the late game, but 2-drop, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you have a 3/3, that's very enough. Then we have Teferi's Tutelage, which say whenever Teferi Tutelage enter the battlefield, draw a card, then discard a card. But this is not only the fact of choosing this card, because the second ability is the most important one, to make your opponent less able to make palms or maybe even make some damage to you, which is whenever you draw a card, target opponent mills 2 cards. So at least you guarantee every turn he's milling 2 cards. From 14 cards in total, you maybe win by dicking him out if you just get lucky and played in turn 3. Then we have Rewind, which is a 4-drop, an instant which say counter target spell. Then it says untap up to 4 lands. So first you have to have 4 mana open, then you have a free counter spell, then you have the 4 mana open again. But I don't think that's going to be very helpful in drafting, but it's a free counter spell for 4. But I think you'll never be able to have 4 mana open in the early game to counter something, but I think it's good in general. Then we have Reign of Revelation, which is an instant for 4-drop, which says draw 3 cards, then discard a card. So that is very efficient for 4 mana. So late in the game you can have a lot of card advantage, which can make a lot of pressure on your opponent. So next in green we have a Quiet Dryad, which is 2 mana, which is says whenever you cast a spell that's white, blue, black, or red, put a +1/+1 counter on it. So whenever you cast other type of spells except green, she will get a +1/+1 counter. Could be good if you are playing a green and a color and splashing in a third color, it will get very huge. Also a good at the early drop, so that he cannot keep up with it. Then we have Cultivate, which is a 3-drop for searching up your library for up to 2 basic lands, reveal those cards and put one of them into the battlefield tabbed and the other into your hand. So it's a little bit of ramp, anyway you will need it. It's not in your draft, you will need it to your collection, so it's a good card, especially in green decks. Then we have Fiery Sea Empath, which is an elf, which says when Fiery Empath enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost 6 or greater. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. This is going to be very handy with a lot of blue or green stuff that's more than 6 mana cost, and there's a lot of them in the set. Maybe also in green, in red, but I think in green and blue that's going to be enough. Then we have Wildwood Scourge, which is a Hydra for 1 green and X. So while Scourge enter the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters, whenever you 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put on another non-Hydra creature you control, put a +1/+1 counter on Wildwood Scourge. So good in green-white decks, and also good as a big chunk blocker or a big creature to make more pressure on the board. Then we have in white Falconeer Adept, which is a creature for 4-drop, which says whenever a Falcon Adept attacks, create a 1/1 white bird creature token with flying that's tabbed and attacking. So every turn having a flying 1/1 just going to make a lot of pressure on the board, and could be hard to remove because it's maybe in turn 4 or 5. So going to be very handy. Then we have Selfless Savior, which is a dog for 1, which says sacrifice Selfless Savior. Another target creature you control gains indestructible until end of the turn, so it's a little much of protection. Then we have Light of Promise, which is good at as a trap. It's an enchantment aura, say enchant creature whenever you gain life with May +1/+1 turn in that creature. So good in blue, it's good in white black decks. Then we have this 2-drop, which is an instant, which say exile a target creature or planewalker. Then you can create a 4/4 angel. So I think it's a good card. You can just clear just can take something like Selfless Savior, for example, and take a 4/4 angel. Just going to be very, very strong in drafting. Also, there is a lot of 1/1 drops, especially in black decks in drafting, so you can make them a 4/4 angel. That's going to be very powerful. Then in black we have Archfiend Vessel, which is a lifelink, 1 draw, which say when Archfiend Vessel enters the battlefield, it entered from your graveyard, or you cast it from your graveyard, exile it. If you do, create a 5/5 black demon creature token with flying, which is going to be really, really interesting if you can cast it from the grave, and there is a lot of spells that are able to do this. Then we have Eliminate for 2-drop, destroy target creature or planewalker, convert mana cost 3 or less, so I got removal. Then we have Tavern Swindler, which creatures that say tap it, pay 3 life, flip a coin. If you win the flip, you gain 6 life. So maybe a constant way to try gaining life in white black decks so that you can make your synergy going. Then we have in red Soul Seer, which is an instant for 3, which say Soul Seer deal 5 damage to target creature or planewalker. That permanent loses indestructible until end of the turn. So even if it has indestructible, you can kill it. Then we have a Kinetic Ogre, which is a creature for 4, which is half trample, which also says Kinetic Anger power is equal to the number of instant or sorcery cards in your graveyard. So it's good on red or blue decks. Also say when Kinetic Ogre enters the battlefield, discard up 2 cards and draw that many cards. So maybe remaking your hand. I think overall she's a good uncommon. Just in the end, I want to mention this card, which says tap it, sacrifice Tomb Carpet, exile all other cards from target player graveyard. This is going to come in handy, not also in drafting, but also in your collection. It's for free. It's 0-drop. Why not have it in your deck? I think it's going to be a really interesting drafting format. That's the end of the video. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you like that video, please leave a thumbs up, and if you have any question, leave them in the comments. I read all the comments, I answer all the questions, and that being said, I will see you in the next video.